All right, guys, it's Ebonie again, aka Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we are going to interview Miss Astrid, otherwise known as Mal or Mill, sorry, whichever you want to call her, and she's going to talk a little bit about something different. Too many times we are so focused on the numbers on this scale, and we get frustrated with our healthy lifestyle journey because maybe we haven't moved as many inches as we wanted to, or as many pounds as we wanted to. And so we revert back to our old behaviors. And what you'll notice is this is for the long term. So she's going to give us some of her challenges and some of her tips that's allowed her to maintain for the long term. And she's also a mother. So a lot of times when we are mothers, we feel like we have to take care of everybody else's needs first. But we always have to remember that everybody else depends on us to be healthy. So she's going to talk a little bit today. And at the end of this interview, if you are inspired, I want you to share this with all other mothers and women that you know of that could benefit from this material. We have a Nutrition for Busy Women group that we are active in. And for women that are looking for additional support, I would encourage you to join because many of us don't have the support system that we need in place to continue on our healthy lifestyle journey. Many times people walking down the street that you see, they're not thinking about health. They're thinking about everything else but. And as much as they would like to see us be successful, they're not always the best people to push us. So without further ado, Astrid, tell us a little bit about what sparked your interest in even pursuing a lifestyle that's healthy and one that is going to be able to inspire your children in the future.
Well, one of the things that inspired me was just the generational health issue that I have in my family. As we tend to get older, we tend to become more dependent on medication and different things like that. And I know that that comes from lack of a healthy lifestyle. When I was younger, my mom she was really, really big on vegetables and different things like that. But of course, when you're a kid, who wants to eat vegetables? Nobody. So as an adult, and I wanted to take control of my health when I reached the age of 30, I started to take things a little bit more seriously. And I decided that I want to be healthier. I don't want to be on medication. I don't want there to be a pill for me to take every day prescribed to me. So I started looking into ways that I could become more healthier. I had a trip to Miami for my 30th birthday. And to get ready for that trip, I got me a personal trainer. The personal trainer was also a nutritionist, and he was a friend of mine. So he was giving me all these great tips. And I was like, oh, wow, it was a lot simpler than I thought it would be. So that made it easier in my mind to go ahead and pursue it. And once I started, I enjoyed it so much. And I saw the benefits of it so much that I said, I have to make this a lifestyle. This can't be a diet just for a trip to Miami. You know, this isn't just for me to fit into a two-piece how I want. This has to be an everyday living experience. And so that's kind of how I got started on it.
Yeah, and that's key what you said. A lot of times I've noticed with the ladies that I work with, the ones that tell me that they want this for the long term and it is not about so that they can look cute in their bathing suit from the Bahamas, those are typically actually the ones that stick with it longer. And they appreciate the other value that comes with it. What would you say is the very first benefit that you saw?
The very first benefit that I saw was energy, the extra energy to sustain myself throughout the day. You know, the benefit of endorphins coming from working out, that feel good feeling. So not only are you feeling great, you know, but it also changes your mood. So now you're in a much happier mood, you're more positive, and it's just a flow of recycling positive energy.
Yeah, I just started a boot camp not too long ago. And at first I was like, am I going to be able to do this 45 minutes of not taking a water break and busting my butt? But that's exactly how it is. You get into this state where adrenaline is flowing. And after every single boot camp workout, I always feel like, why hadn't I tried this sooner? I think that a lot of times we stop ourselves because we believe that something is going to be too difficult. And then when we do it, that's when we're like, well, what took me so long? What do you think is the number one thing that keeps you going besides the fact that you feel better and you notice that your clothes fit better? What is the number one thing that keeps you going, particularly on the days that you just don't feel like going?
The number one thing I say that keeps me going is I have to think about why I started in the first place. And I have kids, and I have a toddler currently, and I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I have a 16-year-old son, and he is extremely fit because he does sports. So on days when I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't feel like working out, I just want to be lazy and be a couch potato today, he's like, Mom, you're not working out today? And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna relax today. And he's like, well, why don't you do this with me? We did this in my workout today at school. So he'll keep me motivated. My kids keep me motivated the most. My daughter loves to work out. So she's always, Mom, do you want to have a challenge? Let's see how fast you can do 30 jumping jacks. I bet I can do mine faster than yours. So my kids are my biggest motivating factor for me.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up. I actually just came off of a bike ride with my 8-year-old daughter, and they are so active, and they don't think of it in terms of, oh, I got to get my workout in today. Kids are just naturally physically active. If you think back to when you were a child, you probably think in terms of, let's go play on a playground, let's go, play tag with the friends, and you don't look at exercise as a chore. And when we become an adult, because we have responsibilities, a lot of times we look at it as a chore. But one of the things that keeps a lot of people going also is to do things that they enjoy. So talk a little bit about some things that you actually enjoy doing that it doesn't necessarily feel like, oh, I gotta work out today.
One of the things that I really learned to enjoy is doing group exercise. So currently I'm in Zumba twice a week, and I love it because I love music. So things that incorporate music into them, they just add a little bit more extra joy for me, and it makes it easier to do. So since I'm listening to music all day and I love to dance, I've been dancing my entire life. So Zumba is that for me. I have music, I have dance, and I have a group of people that are there, working just as hard as me and having fun with it.
Yes. And that is actually one of the things that I love about the boot camp that I'm doing, because I've seen some boot camps that are outdoors and you're just doing a bunch of drills. But at this particular one, he's got some good music on. You got a lot of women there, all shapes and sizes, all supporting each other, all sweating together. And the music is really what keeps the energy going, so that 45 minutes really feels like, by the end, it feels like it was 15, 20 minutes, really. So yes, I completely identify with music. And I strongly suggest for people to look for classes like that in their community. And a lot of times you can look for classes on things like meetup.com, where you could go to things like that free of charge. It's one of those things that you just need to step outside your comfort zone and look for it. A lot of times we associate working out with having to go to the local gym and join a gym for $50 a month or whatever the price is. And we say to ourselves, oh, we can't afford it. But there's so many free resources in your community as well. I noticed that I noticed that you're right in front of a McDonald's. So let's talk about nutrition. The McDonald's side directly behind you.
Yeah, I'm at a gas station. I pulled over at the gas station so that I didn't have to drive and do the interview, and they have a McDonald's attached to this Love's gas station. I'm at truck stop.
That's perfect segue into talking about nutrition. So tell me, what was it like in the beginning when you discovered that you couldn't eat a lot of the same type of foods that you were used to in order to see change?
Well, in the beginning, it was tough. It was tough in the beginning, but it was very doable. For me, one of the big changes I wanted to make in my diet, beef was becoming too hard on my stomach, and you know, I really love to eat my steaks and different things like that, but the body takes such a long time trying to process them out, and different things, that I was like, I need to cut out some of this beef, and I need to cut out a lot of some of the processed foods, and the sugar is turning straight into fat. So once I kind of educated myself on it, I was kind of able to talk myself into it. You know, it was a little tough because you're used to it, and then, you know, you get addicted to sugar. It is, you know, a drug in itself, in a sense, because you can become very addicted to the sugar, and your body will literally crave sugar like it craves, you know, caffeine and different things like that. But I started there. I cut down on it. I'm not a big candy eater, but I love desserts. So I love cookies. Cookies are my favorite dessert. And I had to learn how to cut back on my cookie intake. And when I did have a cookie, you know, I had to learn about proportions, the right time of day to eat them. So it was a process, but it was very doable.
Okay. And what do you do now when you're craving cookies or any other thing that you enjoy? What is your thought process now?
Well, my thought process now is, I know what cookies I can eat at this point, you know, that are not going to be tons of sugar. One of the people that I actually follow on social media is Tys Conscious Kitchen. I follow him on social media because he has recipe books to a lot of alternative eating ways. He does a lot on the alkaline diet. So I'm really big on eating a lot of alkaline foods and stuff, but he has a dessert book as well. So that helped me with, okay, if I'm going to eat something sweet, I'm craving something sweet, I want something sweet, what is the healthiest way for me to eat something sweet? I don't want to get any artificial sugar, so what can I eat that is actually good for me and still still cure my craving for the sweetness.
Right.
So that's what
it was Tys Conscious Kitchen. Is that what you said?
Ty.
Tys Conscious. Okay, and I will include that in the comments of this video. I'm always looking for new resources. So you hit a very important concept or topic, and that is to look for foods that are going to be the healthiest alternative. A lot of times people think, oh, I gotta eat healthy, so that means I gotta give up all sweets, or I gotta give up all pizzas and all this other stuff. But what we don't realize when we haven't been used to making foods healthy is that there are so many different alternatives of how to make something healthier, where it's better ingredients that your body can process better, that taste just as good, and a lot of times better because it tastes fresher than what we've been used to. So
exactly.
It's one of those things that people believe that, oh, this means I have to eat salad all day, every day, and I can never eat a piece of cheesecake again, or I can never eat red velvet cake, or whatever it is that they like to indulge on. But when you learn how to use alternative ingredients, a lot of times that food tastes much better. And I think that's where the education piece comes in. So I'm going to include that resource down in the comments. And if you think of any others, just let me know, and I'll include those in the comments as well. I always admire people that can live a healthy lifestyle regardless of what other people are doing around them. So if you think about your social circle, and you don't have to mention any names, but if you think about your social circle, how many of them would you say actually do embrace a healthy lifestyle? And has it ever impacted you to the point where you were starting to get certain results and family members or friends said negative things about your weight loss?
Well, my immediate circle is very supportive of it. They are very supportive of it. They are actually willing to try different things because I've picked up different recipes from various places, and I'll say, well, I have this that I'm trying, like substituting the regular spaghetti noodles and eating more like spaghetti squash. That's one of my big substitutions that I use, and so my immediate circle has been very supportive of it, and they have tried different things and they've liked it, and it's something that they've kind of adapted into their lifestyle as well. So for me, it's been a very positive. There have been instances where there was one time where I got really small according to someone else, and they say, oh, well, you was looking good where you was at, but now you're too skinny. Now you're too skinny. And I said, well, what's too skinny? I'm at a healthy weight. This technically, if I was to go by the BMI charts, I'm still overweight technically, but so you will have those moments. I don't really let it bother me anymore, just because I focus more so on just being healthy. Once I took out the aspect of focusing on, well, I need to lose these 15 pounds, or I have to get these 20 pounds off, or I need to lose 4 inches off my waist, and I just focus on just being healthy, making it a lifestyle, not making it short term, doing my substitutions, making sure that I'm not eating at 11 o'clock at night and then falling asleep.
Right.
Picking and choosing the right times for me to eating dinner, not so late in the evening, making sure, we're eating at by 7 o'clock and giving our body time to process that food the way it needs to. So for me, just educating myself on different things played a big part of it. And it just allowed me to just kind of not focus on the negative people that will kind of shun it and say, oh, or you work out, 4 times a week, you're doing some type of exercise. Don't you ever get tired? Yes, sometimes I do get tired because life goes on, and we all know that there's a ton of things in life that happen on a day-to-day basis, things unexpected. Your schedule can be hectic, but as I stated before, my kids are a big motivating factor for me, and just having a better spirit about it overall just keep me going. I had to look at the positive aspects of it. When you see these pictures in groups like this, I think are amazing. If anybody ever feels like, oh, I'm just kind of getting tired, and they feel like they're kind of falling off the wagon a little bit, join a group, interact in the group. Even if you don't talk in a group, you will see stories from other people that do talk and post, and it will be so inspiring to you. That has helped me make this a longevity, not doing it alone.
Yes, and a lot of people, they may not have those people in their immediate social circle that is supportive, but in the day of social media, there are thousands of health and wellness groups on Facebook, or following different people on Instagram or LinkedIn even, that you are never alone. It's just a matter of going to your phone, pulling up a group, scrolling through, and as you said, you get inspiration just off of people's stories. The people that are vocal are generally the people that also like to help the most. So I'm sure that when you have questions, nobody's going to say, I don't have time to answer that. They might not have time at that given moment because they're busy in their day. But a lot of times people that embrace a healthy lifestyle are also open to helping people get better themselves. A lot of times you don't have that with people that couldn't care less about eating a carrot. So you touched on something that's key, that when sometimes women will say, I've lost a significant amount of weight and I'm beginning to lose friends. And for some people, because their social relationships are so important to them, sometimes they revert back to old behaviors because of the fact that their social relationship is so important. But there are always people out there that can help support you. Always, always, always. And it's just a matter of identifying who those people are and being proactive to maintain that friendship, that relationship. One last question, and then I will let you get to your babies. As I told you guys, she's a mother, so she's got to get to her babies this evening, especially her little 2-year-old. What would be one strong piece of advice that you would give to mothers in particular that want to do better, and they look at the self-love posts and they know that it's something that they need to do in order to care better for their family, but they simply just don't have enough quote-unquote time? What would be the best piece of advice you would give to those people in that situation?
The best piece of advice I would give in that situation is incorporate your kids into what you're doing. As you stated earlier, a lot of times it's just fun for kids, and kids love to be involved in what their parents are doing. It doesn't matter what it is. They want to be right there. They're always watching anyway. So if you incorporate your kids, it doesn't even matter what age they are. My 2-year-old, one thing we do is he'll hop on the bottom of my legs, and I'll do leg lifts with him on there. And he's just on a ride. You know, he's having a ball with it. It's fun for him. He loves it. He'll do it at random times. He'll just come and jump on mommy's legs, and he's like, up, 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 you know, and I'm like, okay. So even if I don't feel like working out at the moment, I'm about to get some lower ab workout in because I'm playing with my 2-year-old, you know. So for moms, I would say that that's the biggest thing that you can do is incorporate your kids. They will motivate you better than anybody ever can to keep going. And they make it so fun and so inspiring. And just think at that time you're planting the seed. So that's something that will come back up later for them. They're starting out early. They're getting used to it and just, you know, working out and making it fun for them. But incorporate your kids is the most important thing I can say. If you're a mom, you don't have a lot of time on your hands, so you're already making time to work out, pull those kids in with you.
Yeah, and a lot of times, depending on where you live, there's places that encourage physical activity, like the bounce houses where they have big trampolines. And usually when you go to those places, you see all the kids jumping around. The parents are sitting on the sidelines, talking on the phone, eating pizza and everything else. I'm one of those adults that I'm right out there with the kids because I feel like, well, shoot, let me go ahead and get my workout in for the day. And there you go, it's done. And all I did was jump on a trampoline, you know, so sometimes.
Oh, yeah. We go to Sky Zone regularly.
Yes. Sometimes those kid places, you know, they're designed for kids, but that's not stopping adults from getting out there right along with them. There you go. There's your exercise for the day. So yes,
right.
Thank you so much for giving that suggestion. And as you guys heard earlier, this is not something that she's giving advice on that she doesn't actually implement and do. As you heard, her kids are very physically active, and that encourages her to continue on, even when she is quote unquote pressed for time. Well, thank you so much for your time. And anybody that is listening to this, if you believe that other women can benefit from anything that Astrid has told us today, definitely share this video. And I would encourage you to also join the Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. It's a women of supportive, encouraging. They're so encouraging to the point that a lot of times when I'm not active in the group, I log back in and here they are establishing friendships with each other. So if you're looking for people to help push you to that next level and you don't have that in your immediate environment, that's an excellent place to be. I always have different challenges going on, and we have random gift cards that are given for people that post their healthy meals and snacks and workouts because I want to keep that environment of positivity and encouragement going. And a lot of times, you know, there's people in the group that may not necessarily say anything, but they're benefiting from it because our side conversations that we have tell me that they're benefiting from it. So keep what you're doing. Astrid, keep what you're doing in your community. I know that people are looking at you and they're saying, you know, I want to be like her one day, and we just never know who's watching. So continue doing what you're doing, especially motivating your children as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you starting the group and encouraging other females. I think, you know, the more camaraderie that we can have amongst each other, the better. If it's about being healthy, that's even twice the better.
Exactly. We're going to touch on the mindset piece in my mindset course that I have coming up. And for anyone that is listening to this, I would strongly encourage you to join the group, or if you're an active member in my group, to get in on that 30-day course. Because I believe after listening to Astrid and after talking to other women, I believe that one of the things that keeps us going that we don't realize a lot of times is the fact that we've adapted our mindset to one that's going to continue with it for the long term. And so a lot of times people look at it from the standpoint of, I just need to lose these 15 pounds for this upcoming trip. And anybody can follow a meal plan guide and lose the 15 pounds, but then what happens after you've lost the 15 pounds? If you haven't adapted your mindset, a lot of times many people will revert back to the old behaviors, and it becomes a constant up and down roller coaster ride for the rest of their life. So I've developed a course where you guys are going to be able to learn mindset techniques that are not only going to help you in health and fitness and nutrition, but it's also going to carry over into other aspects of your life where you feel fulfilled and you feel like this is what life is about. I'm no longer where I'm surviving, but I'm also thriving in life. And a lot of times we don't work out because of the fact that we're just too tired. So I would encourage you guys to join and tell your friends about anything that you feel like could benefit, that they could benefit from. Sometimes there are certain resources out there that we're so used to seeing that we take advantage of. We take it for granted is what I mean. So when Astrid earlier mentioned the guy on social media, Tys Conscious Kitchen, this is someone that she follows regularly. But it's not something that she's necessarily going to share with her friends because it's just something that's almost second nature to her now. So anytime that you guys do find these additional resources that are helping you, share them with your friends. Astrid, do you have anything else that you want to share with us before we end?
I would just say stay encouraged and just try to keep a positive mind. I think that mind course is going to be excellent, especially if it is, focusing on being positive while you're doing this. You will get a lot of negative comments. There are going to be some people that aren't going to be happy for you. And at the end of the day, you just have to keep in mind that if they're your true friend and they truly care about you, then they're going to be happy for you on your journey along the way. And you're eventually probably going to inspire them to change their lifestyle a little bit as well. And then they'll be right there next by your side. And if they're supposed to be there, they'll be there. But don't focus on that. Just focus on being healthy, being happy, and loving yourself, loving your family. It's a journey, but it's a great journey. And it's definitely a ride worth taking.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, you guys, if you are familiar with my website, simplicityhealthstyle.com, you know that my motto is to live simply, meaningfully, and purposefully. And I think that she just put that up in that whole paragraph that she gave us. So if anything, listen to this over and over and over again. She has a lot of wisdom. And I know that you guys are going to be the best version of yourself if you implement all of what we're teaching you today. You guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.